Diṭṭhā va yeva adiṭṭhā, yeva dūre vasanti avidūre, Bhūtā va sambhavesī va sabbasattā bhavantu sukhitattā. Indeed, the visible or the invisible, or those who live at a distance or near, the born or those seeking birth, may all beings be happy at heart. This verse is a continuation of the idea started in verse 4 with ye kechipana bhutati. That is, this list is helping us visualize what all beings without remainder means. So notice this line begins just as the second line of verse 4 did, with a va and a yeva. This yeva is just being emphatic. So we will take that emphaticness as applying to the first word here, diṭṭhā. Diṭṭhā is a masculine nominative plural adjective, and it comes from this hypothetical present tense verb dusati. And it's hypothetical only in the present tense where pasati has supplanted it as an actual form. Dusati would mean to see, and so diṭṭhā, being a past participle of that verb, would mean the seen, the visible. This is obviously related to the word diṭṭhī, which we find in samaditthi, the first of the 8 path factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. In that case, it doesn't simply mean literal sight, but it means your view or your viewpoint or your interpretation of what you see. Now we skip over here to adiṭṭhā. This is our negating and it really means the opposite of diṭṭhā. So what is the opposite of the seen, the visible? The unseen, those who are unseen or invisible. And in this case, I think that we could think about this on several levels. One is very literal, beings that are either maybe microscopic, they're just too small to be seen, maybe they're too fine to be seen, maybe they're only subtle bodies that exist, and we just don't have the means to apprehend them by our senses. It could also mean something like unseen as in unrecognized beings, maybe humans, that are overlooked as worthy of any sort of love and respect. Now this next yeva, notice there is a space here. This ye is, as we encountered before, the nominative masculine plural relative pronoun. So here we're getting a relative clause, and we might just scan through here and see if there's some sort of verb, especially if there's some sort of plural verb. And indeed, we see this vasanti. This has that characteristic ending of the third person plural present active indicative. So vasanti comes from the verb vasati, to live, stay, dwell, abide. So we have va, or those who live or are living, and then we have dūre, which is a locative from dura, and dura means far away or distant, so the locative is at a distance, those who live at a distance. And then we have avidūre. Avidūre is negating vidūre, and vidūre really has the same meaning as dūre. So this is a way of negating dūre, that is near, close by. We might ask, why not simply negate dūra? Why not adūra? I don't have a good answer for that. I don't think adūra exists, but there are people out there who certainly know Pali much, much better than I do, and maybe it does. But it's just possible that one explanation is just the way it sounds. There could be some very deep reason, but it could be that avidūre just has some better sonic quality to it than avidūre does. Also notice I simply went with what the Tipitaka.org has given as the main reading. If we look here at the variant reading in blue, it would be "and those who." And notice that that reading is supported by the Sri Lanka, the Thai, the Cambodian, and the Pali Text Society. So I'm not sure which ones are left over that are somehow more important. So that's just something to think about. Again, this does not drastically alter the meaning. Instead of "or," we have the word "and" here. I'll just point out, notice that this comes up 2 other times. Only, in the next 2 times, only as to the length of the word "va," whether it's "va" or "va." That would in no way alter the meaning. Now, Bhūtā, we've come across before. Again, masculine nominative plural. If we took it as before, it would mean beings. But the commentary has a little gloss here. Bhūtāti, jaṭṭhā abhinibbata. Jaṭṭhā means born, and abhinibbata is the past participle from abhinibbatati, which means reproduced or reborn. So the idea here is being born in samsara. And we talked before how Bhūtā can have many meanings. This is another one, born. And that is contrasted with sambhavesī. Now this is a compound, a tapurisa, and also bahubihi, of sambhava and essing. Essing means seeking, and sambhava means birth. So those seeking birth. If you know Tibetan Buddhism at all, you might have come across the famed tantric master Padmasambhava, which means born in a lotus, born from a lotus, probably in or on in his case. And the last 3 words we've already come across before, sabbasattā, all beings, bhavantu, may they be, sukhitattā, happy at heart. And there's possibly a little more information on that at the end of verse 3.